Hi everyone, so today's video is going to be more of a podcast style video. This is essentially a review of my art journey during 2023, or rather lack of art journey because I didn't make a ton of art, a lot of things happened. But yeah, what you're gonna be seeing are drawings that I made throughout the year because I feel they match with the theme of the video. So you can either watch it with a speed paint or just have it play in the background while you do something else. I do that all the time, that's okay, just do what you wanna do. So, 2023 was quite a pretty strange year for me. And what surprises me about it, it's the fact that it not only was weird for me, but it seems it was that way for almost everyone. Like, the end of the year was approaching, and all I could see were memes and posts from people talking about how they wanted this year to come to an end, and how it sucked, and how they hated it. And the thing about it is, this wasn't something that I was only seeing on social media or that was specifically picked by an algorithm to appeal to me. It was something that when I talked to a lot of my friends and my acquaintances, they all seemed to have similar experiences. And I had a conversation with a friend on Discord the other night, and that made me realize there might be a logical reason why 2023 was so weird. And that is the fact that we were on lockdown for 2 years. Then we went out to a version of the world that was adjusted to everything that happened during that time. And then 2023 came along, and we all tried to take back the lives we had before 2020. But we were not ready because the pandemic had changed us all and had changed the world. Now, I do plan to talk about the personal stuff and how last year was a roller coaster of emotions for me, but I also want to talk about things that affected all artists and a lot of people in general because I feel those also contributed on how the past year sucked. First, there's social media. Social media for artists right now, it's a mess. Video content is in favor in most, if not all, platforms, including Instagram, which used to be the platform that focuses mainly on images rather than video, making it the go-to platform for artists. But with the rise of TikTok and everything, now it focuses on video. And that creates extra work for artists because now they not only have to create a single piece of art, but they have to create a content tree around it. They have to record a process. They have to keep up with trends that change every week. They have to make tutorials and create more and more content, while also having to find ways to branch out while still being an artist. And the truth is, some of them just want to post art and that's it. Even I, someone who enjoys branching out, I mean, there's a reason why this channel exists, I got tired of it. There were times when I just wanted to draw, but I realized that if I was going to post this, I had to find a way to make it be seen by my followers, by following a trend or creating a reel or a TikTok, and it was just exhausting. I could make a whole video about how being an artist on social media has changed so much and how it is a pretty bad place for artists right now. Let me know you want to see that, but yeah, this is just a small part of the problem, and it's the most common one that I found, and that's why this is the one that I decided to mention in this video. And I know, if we love art so much, we should just do it because we love it. We shouldn't do it for views or for fame. But you have to understand, there's people who live off of their art or that art is a big part of their income. And nobody thinks about how not having likes equals not having your post be seen.
Hi, editing Rosa here. What I try to mean with this point is that when artists are unable to produce videos or create the type of content the platform or algorithm wants them to produce, their content gets hidden. It's not being shown. Again, there's not a specific platform anymore for images. You could say Pinterest, but even that, it's more of a search engine rather than a social media. So in platforms like Instagram, when their content it's not a reel, it's been hidden by the algorithm. It's taking engagement away from them. It's not even allowing them to interact with their own followers. Because even though likes, comments, and shares do not define how good of an artist you are, they are what we need to get exposure, at least on the social media landscape.
And for a lot of people, that involves losing commission and freelance clients, losing collaborations or full-blown job opportunities. So yeah, that honestly draws people away from posting. And another thing is that we are going back to our regular lives. It was easier to produce a lot of content when we were stuck in our houses with nowhere to go. But now, people are going back to work, to school. They have to do a lot of things that drain their energy more quickly. But social media platforms want us to still produce the same amount of content we did back then. And the truth is, the majority of us can't do that. And if social media wasn't enough, we also have to deal with the economic repercussions of the panini. Financially speaking, every country in the world is a mess right now. Look, I am not an economist, I am not an expert in all of this, but basically, thanks to the panini, we have been dealing with an insane amount of inflation all over the world. Here in Mexico, a lot of things have gotten more and more expensive, like food, cleaning supplies, really just basic stuff for living. And you might be wondering, how does this affect me or affect other artists? Well, I did need commissions during lockdown to have some money, but commissions have mostly been extra income for me, at least before this year. I had my job, and if I wanted extra cash, I would open commissions. But now, with everything being more expensive, I needed commissions to afford things like medicine. And I thought that was my personal case, that I just needed a different job. But then I realized all of my friends, including non artists, had a second job or a side hustle because they all needed money as well. Some of my friends were walking dogs, acting as tutors, or even waiting tables. All of that while also having a professional job at the same time. One of my friends makes crochet dolls for fun, and sometimes she takes commissions from friends and family, and she enjoyed doing them because, it was extra cash. Well, during the panini, she began taking more and more commissions due to her being temporarily laid off from her office. But she told me that when she came back to her job, she still had to sell at least 5 to 8 dolls a month to make ends meet. Something she used to do for fun and as a favor had now become her second job. And let's face it, having to rely on 2 or even 3 jobs in order to make a living burns you out. I know there's more reasons why 2023 was a difficult year for artists. I'm mainly talking about the ones that affected me the most. So if there's a reason that you think affected you or other artists, let me know in the comments. Now, I'm gonna get personal and talk about my own year and how my personal life affected my art. But I also want you to keep in mind those 2 reasons we just talked about. Because at the end of the day, the context and the world we live in also affects our personal lives. My 2023 didn't have a good start. I was already grieving my mother and my aunt who I lost the previous year. I was just getting back from the first holiday season my family spent without my mom, and long story short, it was a really difficult time for all of us. Even this year, it was not a good season for me. Since the holidays were my mom's favorite part of the year, I didn't really start January being motivated, and I tried not to blame myself for this. After all, during that time, my mental health was my priority. But then I realized something. Every time I would grab my iPad or my tablet to draw, I couldn't bring myself to do anything, or I wasn't satisfied with any of my drawings. And I thought I was dealing with a case of the good old artist block. But that was not it. I could still bring myself to draw, to make art, but only if it was a commission or something work related. And look, I have ADHD. I know for a fact that people like me are highly motivated when there's a deadline or an immediate reward. I am aware of that. But I also knew that was not it. Because in the past, sure, I finished commissions faster, but I still managed to work on my personal stuff, even if it was at a slower pace. And this wasn't like those times. This was an instance when I just couldn't bring myself to create anything. So when talking with my therapist about it, we had to go back all the way to the beginning of 2020, when I, along with a lot of people, lost my job. Now, it didn't affect me as much since I was still in college and living with my parents, but I still needed to pay for bills, so I opened commissions and began working on that. And at the same time, I was doing a lot of art on my Instagram, because I barely had any followers and I had to promote myself. So, as much as I was working on personal art during that time, it was with the goal of self-promotion and not self-fulfillment. And I did this during the entire panini. Then 2022 comes around, and I had to start working again. And for me, it's easy to find a balance because the world wasn't entirely back to normal. But now that 2023 was rolling around, I was still expected to go back to work, but also keep working on my art. Because, well, like I said before, inflation happened. So the money I was making in my job and the salary I was being offered in other jobs was still not enough for me to be able to live independently. So I still needed to work on art on the side. Because aside from my essential needs like food, I also need to afford medication for both my ADHD and some physical health problems that I was dealing with at the time, and heck, I'm still dealing with some of them. And when I brought this up with my therapist, she made me realize that not only I was clearly burned out from all this stress, but that I also wired my brain for 3 years to see my art exclusively as a job. So, when I wanted to sit down and do it for fun, my brain would still associate the action with working, and it didn't want to do it anymore. I had unconsciously taught myself to dread making art, which I think it's every artist's worst nightmare. And here's the thing, I needed to learn to find my balance again, because I enjoy doing art, and I do like earning money from it. I even thought at some point that if everything worked out, art could stop being my side hustle and become my main source of income. But I needed to find joy in it again. So I saved up some money and I closed art commissions. I just left them open for close friends and frequent clients. And I would focus only on graphic design commissions in order to still have that extra source of income. And I also had to learn to ignore social media and algorithms. And this was kind of frustrating during the first few months at least, because I was seeing my followers and my engagement plummet. And at the beginning, I was feeling sad that I was losing some of them. But then I realized ignoring social media was a big part of the process to draw the things that I enjoyed without caring about trends or fandoms or even engagement. So basically, what I had to do was just draw if I really wanted to do it in order to enjoy doing art again. And I actually made some really cool self discoveries. For instance, I branded myself as an artist who likes drawing really cute girls, but I found out that I really like to draw male characters. I don't know what happened, I just think they're neat. I feel like I have fun drawing them because it is such an uncharted territory for me. And also, since I was losing a lot of practice in my anatomy and, well, everything during this break, drawing something that I was just not used to do before was a challenge, but in a fun way. I also learned that I am more productive during the day, but also I am a more creative person at night. So for me, working on personal art was more fun at night after dinner, and when I needed to do art related to work, I would do it during the day. I also learned that outside of character art, I really like doing art that is more for merchandise like stickers and keychains because I really like mixing art and graphic design, and I never tried it before because, well, my Instagram feed was already created a certain way to do mostly characters, and that didn't allow me to experiment. But when I didn't care about that, I learned that I like to do this type of art as well. And I was surprised how this soft break from art helped me figure out who I am as an artist. I do have to admit though, my break had some consequences that it definitely affected me. I have lost a lot of practice in my fundamentals and on anatomy, and I definitely have to go back and rewatch the online classes that I've seen for drawing because I never went to art school or anything, so I have to teach myself that. So I have to watch them again and just figure out this year how I'm gonna have time for practice with everything that's going on. Because I've seen a little decline on the art that I post now that I'm back to posting. But if I'm being honest with you, I'd rather post 5 okay drawings and having fun doing each one of them than creating one amazing drawing but dreading my life throughout the entire process. Also, I found out that if you want to make money out of art, you need another hobby that isn't related to drawing or painting, but that can also still satisfy you creatively. Like playing an instrument, writing, learning how to do makeup, interior decorating, just anything that helps you be creative, but also lets you catch a break from art. And never monetize that hobby, okay? That thing has to be purely for fun and enjoyment. Believe me, this will give you a break from the working and producing mindset. I personally began doing cosplay again, and it has been really good for me. Things like doing makeup and wig styling give me a break from computers, but also allow me to still feel creative and still feel like a sense of fulfillment when I finish something. So, a big solution for me was just having another creative outlet. When I finally felt ready to start going back to art on a more semi consistent basis, I decided to try something new. I decided to start tabling at conventions, and this actually helped me find the balance between doing art that I wanted to do and doing art that I wanted to sell. Because I knew I needed to draw stuff that was popular and that would bring people to the table, but also allow me to create things that if I wanted to do it just because I wanted to do it, there was a chance someone would like it as well. And that has been great. It's been a lot of fun. I just started in October, so I don't have a ton of experience, but all of the events that I've done have been amazing, and Just, I don't know, it made me realize that there's also people who are gonna love your self-indulgent art as well. I also found out that doing just small, simple chibis to sell as stickers or keychains or funny little designs, it's so relaxing. Like the idea of not having to make all of your pieces a big, magnificent illustration better than the previous one gives me just so much peace of mind. I guess you can notice by my tone and everything that I rediscovered my love for art and that I am happy about it. Now, all I have to do is rediscover my love for being consistent, which is kind of be the difficult part, if I'm being honest. But yeah, at the end of the day, the advice that I have for you is that if you find yourself in a similar situation to mine, number one, find another creative outlet that you don't have to monetize or worry about on social media. Just do it purely for fun. Number two, take a break because you might be a bit burned out like I was. And also, take into consideration the external factors that might be affecting this. And number three, try new things with your art, whether it's drawing something different or making merch instead of just commissions. You never know what's the next thing that you're gonna enjoy doing. So that's all I have for you today. You may have noticed, if you have seen my other videos, that my voice is a little bit different, and that's because I'm recovering from a cold. So I cannot go full high energetic pitch. Also, I think I finally found the ADHD meds that work for me, and those calm me a little bit, which is great because I feel amazing the entire time. But like, I've been listening to a little bit of the recording that I made on this video, and I've noticed that I sound different. But at the same time, I'm happy because I don't feel like my heart is pounding all the time, so everything's good.
But also, I want to know how your 2023 was.
Was it also a mess, or was it actually a great year? And in case it was, I am happy for you. You deserve it, and if it was a bad year, just know that you were not alone. But yeah, regardless of how it was, let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and maybe consider subscribing. I want to make YouTube a bigger priority this year because I feel this is a platform where I get to express myself more than I do in other ones. So yeah, I'm still trying to find a balance between this type of content and my redesign content, but we'll see what I do about that. But if you want to see more of my art, consider following me on Instagram and Twitter/X. I don't know what we're calling it now, I still call it Twitter. But yeah, you can find me on any of them, and I'll leave the links in the description for you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I am Princess Rosa, and I'll see you the next time. Bye!